Hello everyone, welcome back. It's Professor Gray here, and it's time for week number 5 of our course. Are you ready to go? Gosh, week 5, that's 1/3 of the class already. My goodness, time's flying, isn't it? Well, we're kind of back at a regular schedule, sort of, although today is a holiday and next Monday is a holiday as well. I still plan to give you the lectures on the Monday according to our regular schedule. You still have until Thursday, 5 p.m. to finish it, so it shouldn't be any problem. If there's any reason, anybody has a serious reason they can't get it done, just email me and let me know. Otherwise, I'll expect to hear from you by Thursday at 5 o'clock. Last week, you had a lot of reading homework to do. We're going to go over the coral colonies passage in a few minutes here. Almost everybody remembered to tell me their time. Again, when we do review exercises after every 2 units, there will be longer, full-length TOEFL-style review. Those ones I want you to take seriously, kind of like a practice test, which means time yourself, treat it like a test. Tell me your time. You don't have to tell me your score. Some of you did, that's okay, but you don't have to. That's not part of what I need, that's optional. But the time I do want, so always please remember to tell me that. It gives me a gauge of how you're doing in general. Of course, the score is important too, but I want to see that you're able to read it and answer the questions in the right amount of time, because without timing, you can't really do well on TOEFL reading. That's why we focus on it so much. Okay, last week the homework started on page 21, New World Epidemics. Now, epidemic, of course, we know what that is. When a disease is spreading rapidly in one area, but what we have now is all over the world, which is pan. Pan means across, sort of through everywhere. So epidemic is like epicenter, like one area, and then pan is all over, across every area. So the current situation is what we call a pandemic, although the two are, of course, related and similar in many ways. Notice here, New World. New World is a term we use for the Western Hemisphere. Old World would be Europe and also Asia and Africa. The Western Hemisphere, North and South America, are often called the New World. They're not newer than any other part of the world, but they were discovered more recently by Western people from the West. So we refer to them as New World. Again, North and South America. The inhabitants means the people living in. Habit means to live. If you've studied French, you might know that comes from a French word meaning to live in a place. Inhabitant means those living in the place. Could be humans, could be animals, could be bugs, doesn't matter. The fish are inhabitants of the ocean, okay, kind of like this. Number 10 is the inhabitants. Isolated by means of this watery barrier barring you or keeping you away, like a wall. Because North America and Asia used to be connected by a land bridge that connected Siberia to Alaska. So a lot of the native North Americans came from Siberia, and then they settled in North America. Then the oceans got higher, okay, the glaciers melted, oceans got higher, and then there was it was an ocean, so a watery barrier, an ocean that they couldn't cross back thousands of years ago. So they didn't have exposure to these terrible, virulent, very strong, very lively, strong diseases that had developed. The virulent epidemic diseases, number 11 is C, the diseases that developed. Again, virulent, very strong, very, very alive, kind of like coronavirus is very virulent. Measles, smallpox, pneumonia, and malaria. Okay, measles, smallpox affect the skin, very deadly. Pneumonia affects the lungs, and malaria the blood. Pre-Columbian Americans. Number 12 is A. Them refers to pre-Columbian. So Columbian means Columbus. So when we say pre-Columbian, we mean before Columbus. Pre means before. So the Native Americans who were there before Columbus came, we often refer to as pre-Columbian Americans. Finally, at the end, notice right at the end here, virgin soil epidemics contributed to an unbelievable decline in the population of native inhabitants, Native Americans. One that has been estimated at as much as 80%. Okay, one unbelievable decline. 80% decline in population is incredible. It's terrible. It's unbelievable. One that the decline has been estimated at as much as 80%. We actually don't know. We don't know because there's no population statistics. So the estimate is around 80% died from these diseases in not just North America, North and South America, the Caribbean, all over. A lot more died from these diseases than from warfare and battles. Okay, next page, page 22, Horatio Alger Jr. Now, you might not have heard of him, that's okay. Most Americans know the name. He's famous for writing children's books a long time ago. Now, I've never read one of his books. I don't know anybody that has. We sort of know about him as a historical figure and a famous children's author. What's famous, he was famous for the saying and the theme of rags to riches. You see it in your notes. Rags, like Hengju, it refers to also old clothes. You know, a poor person's clothes might be called rags, dirty and torn and, you know, like that. So we might refer to them as rags. Riches, rich, money, of course. So rags to riches means to go from very poor to very rich. Kind of like, you know, Cinderella kind of story. So his stories were about boys, usually boys, young boys, who were very kind and honest and hardworking, and they respected their teacher and their parents, and they worked hard, and they were rewarded for their hard work by either not necessarily becoming rich, but having a much better life. You know, maybe they had a good job and lived in a better house and like that. So kind of a moral, a story with a moral for children. His stories were very simple, but again, they're for children. And they basically were just telling children to be, hardworking, good people, and they will be rewarded. Kind of a typical children's story, I think. Anyway, that focused on the books that refers to the books, which focused on this theme of success. Coming to those people, those children who worked hard, key point, to achieve the success. Success came to those who worked hard to achieve success, to achieve it. Number 15 is D. 14B, 15D. Son of a minister. Minister is like a priest, a church leader, like a reverend, a priest, minister. Prominent Massachusetts family. Prominent means very famous, very important, kind of rich, important family. Divinity school is for studying to be a church leader, like a reverend or a minister. Divine is a word that refers to God or godlike qualities. So a divinity school is studying God or studying religion to be a member, high-ranking member of a church. In many of his books, he wrote about the poor and homeless children of the slum like Daldongne, sort of a poor area of a city in New York, seeing the children, B, number 16 is B, as unfortunate pawns of society who, if only given the opportunity, could improve their lot. Improve their lot means have a better status or position in life. So if you grow up poor, you work hard, you get a good education, you can have a better status of life, better home, that kind of thing. That's improving your lot, improving your position in life. So pawns, number 17 is C, the pawn. Now what do they mean by pawns? A pawn is actually a piece in a chessboard. The little men in the front that can only move forward, they're very simple, kind of basic soldier. A pawn is somebody who has really no power, kind of like a common soldier, a foot soldier, like in the chessboard. In the back, you have the powerful people, the king, the queen, and so on. But the pawn here refers to anybody who's sort of powerless in their life. That the other people have control over them, they don't control other people. That's a pawn. So they live in a poor part of a city, a slum, right? In the slum, you have the poor children, the pawns that are being controlled by the powerful people, the rich people. Last one, though his writing style was characterized by simplicity and repetition, it was well received by his target audience. In other words, the children were his target audience. It, A, the writing style, A, or just style, number 18A. Well received means they liked it. The movie was well received by the audience. The audience liked the movie. The audience enjoyed the movie, and so on. Okay, any questions, of course, you can send me any questions in the email. Please, if there's something, anytime, if you don't understand, why is this one A and not B, or why did I get this wrong, or ask, okay? That's your job, remember. If you don't ask, I can't answer. So any questions at all, please put in your emails to me. That's why I'm here. Coral colonies. Now, after every 2 units, we'll have today one, but from the next time, 2 long, full-length TOEFL passages. And they'll be kind of scientific like this, not so easy, maybe a lot of new vocabulary. Treat them like a practice test. Let's go through this one now. Coral colonies is a coral reef, is what we call them. And they are in warm water areas close to in the tropics. They're very beautiful. It's an underwater jungle. Like on land, a jungle is a place with so much life and so many things happening and everybody eating each other and growing and all this kind of thing. Well, that's like a coral reef, right? Most of the ocean is like a desert. It's just water, not much there. But the coral reefs are not too deep and close to land and full of life. Did you watch Finding Nemo? If you did, that's a coral reef. And it's called a coral reef because it's full of coral, they look like plants, but they're really living organisms. They're alive, almost like an animal. And other animals live in them, like Nemo did. He lived in coral. That was an anemone that he lived in that almost looked like a bush or a plant. And around him, there's a big fish and small fish and medium fish and octopus, all these things living in an underwater jungle. Okay, complicated events and circumstances to develop now complicated into the characteristically intricate reef structures. Now, intricate might be a new word, but notice the connection. Okay, some of you ask me about this. How do I know the meaning of a word? Look in the context of the sentence. A good writer often gives you clues. Intricate means complicated, kind of difficult, lots going on, not simple. For which they, number 1 is A, are known. Delicate interactions. Delicate means fragile. You have to be very careful. They break easily. Yes, coral can break easily. To thrive, to live well, to flourish, to grow. The basic element in the development of coralline reef structures is a group of animals, that is singular, the group. The group of animals is closely related. A, singular, a group is closely related. That is closely related. Number 2 is C. Jellyfish and sea anemones. Sea anemone, there are many kinds of sea anemones, and one famous type is what you saw Nemo in the movie. Nemo lived in a sea anemone. Bottom oreo. These small polyps, which are for the most part, usually, mostly, for the most part, only a fraction of an inch in, like, very small, very, very tiny. Live in colonies made up of an immeasurable number of polyps clustered together. Immeasurable, number 3B, many, many, many. Im is like in, not. Able, A-B-L-E, not able, to what? To measure. Not able to measure? Too many. It's like saying, count how many grains of sand are on the beach. Impossible. Immeasurable, too many to count. Let's just move forward a little bit here. Number 4, again, now this isn't minute. It's spelled like minute, looks like minute, but in the context, it's talking about tiny, tiny things. In other words, minute or tiny, A, number 4A. Minute, M-I-N, like miniature, minimum, minute, mini, like the car, mini, something very, very small or tiny. A couple things here. Tentacles, like a lot of bugs and other animals have these up here. I guess in Korean you say choksu, and that's what that means. That's a difficult word. But again, you don't really need that word to understand, to answer the questions. So one thing I want to be clear here is, again, if you try to read this word for word, understanding every word, that's great and that's a good goal, but on the TOEFL, the most important thing is time. So if you spend too much time trying to figure out the meanings, you're gonna waste time and it's gonna hurt your score. So when you see difficult words like this, try to guess the meaning, from the context and then move on. Of course, it's good to know this word, but it's more important on the TOEFL to answer the questions. Moving on, paragraph 3. They grow inward, outward directions, creating a fringe. Fringe is like the outside edge of something, of living coral. Say, like, maybe like a purse or a bag might have some little edge decoration, hanging from it. That's kind of a fringe. Your bed might have a bed sheet with some nice little outside edge. That's a fringe, sort of just for decoration, so it looks nice. The remnants of once living coral. Remnants means what remains, what's left over. Once dash momo means before, not now, finished. Once living means living before, not living anymore. In other words, dead. Number 5 is B, dead. That coralline structures. Now, it's easy to get confused here. That doesn't mean like, hey, look at that. Look at that door. No. Here, it's very common in academic writing, especially scientific writing, to begin a sentence with the word that. And it's short for the fact that, right? It's not like that guy or that building. It's the fact that coralline structures are mo, 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 mo. Okay, please remember that in academic writing. Okay, the fact that hardy life forms, hardy means strong, rugged, hardy, strong, long-lasting, durable, or rugged. Rugged means strong. Easily able to withstand external forces of nature. Withstand means to take or to endure. So if you're strong, you're rugged, you're hardy, you can endure nature. Think of it like a tree during a typhoon. If it's a weak tree, the typhoon will blow the tree down and it's gone. But a strong tree might go like this, but it'll stay. The typhoon will not knock it down. It can withstand, it can stand up, withstand, endure the powerful typhoon, the powerful force of nature. They, again, refers all the way back to that coralline structures, they, the coralline structures, A. Algae, A-L-G-A-E is pronounced algae. It's kind of like, gim, kind of seaweed. Fragmented, broken into many pieces, and to bore into. To bore means to make a hole, like with a drill. When you drill into a wall, you bore into the wall, and you weaken them. You weaken the structures. C. Number 8 is C. Okay, that boring into comes into the next. It's not boring like, oh, this is boring. This movie is really boring. No, borings here means the result of boring into something. Drilling a hole in something. What happens when you drill a hole into a wall? Okay, the powder comes down to the bottom. Those are the borings. Those are coming from the hole that you've made. And anyway, so that's number 9 is D, the powdery remnants, what's remaining after you bore a hole. Moving on, paragraph 5, an additional part of the process of reef formation is the ongoing compaction and cementation. Okay, compact, putting together, cementing, bonding. You instead of being all over the place, you push it together, you compact it, and then you bond it, you cement it. Occurs throughout the process, throughout, again and again and again. Ongoing means going on, continuing again and again and again. B, continuous, ongoing, continuous. To break down, 11 is to decompose or decay. When an animal dies, the skin and the soft tissue breaks down, it decomposes, it goes away. And what's left are the hard tissues, the teeth and the bones. The hard tissue remains, the soft tissue decays or breaks down or decomposes. Last 2 here, paragraph 6, number 12. Notice that it's plural. That are unnecessary part. That are. Are is plural. Therefore, that must be plural. Here, life forms. You cannot say variety are. Variety is, but variety are, no. So it's not the variety, it's the variety of life forms, plural, that are. And number 13 is A, coralline structures. Okay, I hope you did well on that. If you missed a few, don't panic. It's okay. It was a tough exercise. It was long, scientific, interesting, I think. I really enjoy coral reefs. I used to scuba dive a lot. It's still one of my favorite hobbies, though I haven't been able to for a couple of years, of course. If you've tried scuba diving, if you have, good for you. It's a great hobby. And people that scuba dive love to see coral reefs. They're beautiful, they're amazing, and they're in danger because of global warming. It's warming the water, and the water gets too warm and it kills them, it bleaches them. And it's like, these are sort of a life, it's part of the life of the ocean. So we have to be very, very careful about coral reefs. If we start losing coral reefs, it causes a chain reaction of losing lots and lots of other living things in the ocean. And remember, coral is a living being. It's not like a tree. There are over 700 types of coral. Very beautiful. And some look like trees, some look like flowers, bushes, tables, rocks, even big pots, like a big, like a kimchi pot almost, big, empty in the middle. It looks like you could put things in it. Amazing variety of coral in the ocean. And if you've never tried scuba diving, in the future, if you have a chance, it's very, very beautiful. And you can learn a lot just by doing it and seeing things you've never seen on land. Okay, good work, everyone. If you have questions or problems about that, please ask me, okay? The review exercises are very important in our class. I want you to take them seriously, treat them like a test or a practice test, time yourself, check your score, check your comprehension, ask questions. Now, the units, you get a lot of practice in which we go over things, go a little slower, try to get a technique, understand the questions, understand how to answer them. Then you use what you learned on these review exercises. So those are the ones I really want you to focus hard on and really do your best when you do them. Let's move on. Skill 3, simplify meanings of sentences, page 26. In the reading section of TOEFL, you may be asked to simplify the meaning of a long and complex sentence. So you're going to get a big, long sentence, and it's difficult, and it has many little parts. So how do we answer it? Well, you break the sentence down. Look for the individual pieces of the sentence. How do you do that? Look for commas. Look for semicolons, even dash sometimes. Look for words, conjunction words, how, however, but, and, or, before, after. They separate key points of the sentence. Look for the main meaning in each key point, and then look for synonyms in the right answer. The right answer shouldn't have too many of the exact same words. The right answer should have synonyms of the key words. It should restate the key points. The wrong answers will often have too many of the same words, and it'll either go against, it'll say the opposite of what the main sentence says, or it'll omit or leave out key point or key points of the sentence. Let's take a look. The great red spot. One distinctive, very noticeable or special feature of the planet Jupiter is the great red spot. A massive, big oval like the shape of an Olympic racetrack, circling reddish brown clouds. Were. In academic writing, when a sentence starts with were, it means if it were. If, it's like if, a bit like if. Were Earth to be juxtaposed, what does that mean? With the great red spot, Earth, great red spot, our planet Earth would be dwarfed. Ooh, you know dwarf, right? Nanjengyi, Baekseol Gongju, yeah, you know. Okay, so small. Dwarfed means it made very small in comparison. With the diameter, remember diameter, distance through the circle, less than half that of the great red spot. So Earth is much smaller than Jupiter, of course, but it's actually much smaller, less than half the size of this great red spot on Jupiter. Wow. So what does our planet look like now? It looks dwarfed. It looks very small. Why? Because we compared it. Juxtapose means compare. You see, when you see a new word like that, okay, don't run for a dictionary. You can't use one on the TOEFL. Learn how to guess the meaning from context. We're juxtaposing here. What are we doing? We are putting Earth next to the great red spot, and we're comparing them. Number one is C. Notice that there's synonyms here. By placing the Earth next to the great red spot, juxtaposing or comparing it. Earth has a much smaller, less than half diameter, less than half, much smaller. Number 2, the outer winds require 6 Earth days to complete the circumference. That's the distance around, like circle. Circumference is the distance around the outside edge of something. A length of time indicative, showing the vastness, how big the great red spot is. So what are the key words here? Circumference, distance around. Indicative, showing or proving. Vastness, large, big, huge. Number 2 is D. The fact that the winds take so long to move around the great red spot, move around, circumference, proves, indicates, indicative, how big, vast, huge it is. All right. Again, now we're going to practice this now. I want you to read page 26 and 27 on your own. Review these 2 examples again. Then read the box on page 27. That shaded box is critical. It tells you how to recognize the question and how to begin to answer it, what strategies to use. Look at the sentence, break it into parts, look for the keywords, look for the key points, find an answer that restates those key points. Page 28, camouflage. Wijong hara? Maybe my pronunciation is bad. But anyway, like so many things, right? We use camouflage, human beings. But we didn't invent it. No, so many things were invented by Mother Nature. And this is one of them. The idea of camouflage is not ours. It goes back millions of years. It's been used by all kinds of animals and bugs and birds and everything else. Let's read about it. Okay, try passage 1. Okay, answer number 1 and number 2. Try to do it in about 5 minutes. I think it's plenty of time, but remember, focus on the technique here. Look at the sentence, break it into the key parts, key points, look for an answer that restates those key points. When you're done, okay, hit pause, do the work. When you're done, come back and I'll tell you the answers. Go ahead. Camouflage is one of the most effective ways for animals to avoid attack in the treeless Arctic. What is Arctic? Let's think about that. Arctic. Well, I can tell you one thing about the Arctic. It's treeless, meaning there's no trees. Okay, there's a start. However, the summer and winter landscapes there in the Arctic, landscape is the view, what you see, what it looks like, what the nature, the land looks like, are so diverse, so different, that a single protective coloring scheme would, of course, prove ineffective, not useful in either summer or winter, in one season or the other. Winter is white. It's just nothing there. It's like white, snow, ice. So if you want to survive and be camouflaged, you want to be white, very white coat. In the summer, though, everything is green and brown and gray and all these colors of life and trees and grass. So if your coat is white in the summer, it's very easy to see you. You don't camouflage well. Number 1 is A, opposite conditions. Okay, diverse. Okay, the landscapes are so diverse, so different, opposite conditions. In summer and winter, make necessary, means you must have different protective coloration, different colors for Arctic animals. So the animals must have very, very different colors, opposite colors in summer and winter for camouflage. A. Number 2, many of the inhabitants, okay, the animals and the living things living in the Arctic tundra, change their camouflage twice a year, summer and winter, right? Tundra. Well, Arctic tundra, what is tundra? Well, Arctic tundra, what else do we know about Arctic? It's treeless. Okay, so one way of describing tundra would be treeless, no trees. This is how you understand vocabulary. Look for these clues, look for these connections. The Arctic fox is a clear-cut example. Clear-cut means perfect example. This comes from jewelry, like diamond. When you can make a diamond more valuable by cutting it, but it has to be a perfect cut, an exact cut, or a clear cut. A perfect example of this phenomenon. It sports wears. Okay, sports here means to wear. Sporting a beautiful hat, sporting a winter jacket, wearing a hat, wearing a jacket. Brownish gray coat in the summer, which then turns white as cold weather sets in. Cold weather sets in, and the process reverses itself opposite in the springtime. Okay, so the Arctic fox is a perfect example of this changing camouflage, changing their appearance twice a year. Number 2, is it now? Some of you might have said B, some of you might have said D. They both look right. B, the Arctic fox lives in an environment that is brownish gray in the summer and white in the winter. That's true, but it's wrong. B is wrong. B is true, but it's missing the key point. The key point here, That's just explaining. That's an example. But the key point is the Arctic fox is a clear-cut example of this phenomenon. What is that? It demonstrates. D. A clear-cut example means a perfect example or demonstrates perfectly that protective coloration, color of the coat, changes from winter to summer. The sentence here, the main point is that the Arctic fox is a perfect example of this changing. White in the winter, brownish gray in the summer. Okay. Its brownish gray coat blends in, mixes in with the barren tundra. So what do we know here? Barren means empty. Tundra is empty. Where is the tundra? In the Arctic. What do we know? The Arctic is treeless. See how all these connect? So tundra is a treeless, empty, barren place that's very cold most of the year up north in the Arctic. Tundra is actually a Russian word. It makes sense. Russia has the most tundra of any country. Okay, Arctic. Funny story here. Arctic actually, do you know what it means? Well, Arctic is in the north, the sort of the cap of Earth, and the bottom is the Antarctic. In the bottom we have Antarctica. Ka means like land. It's a continent. Antarctica is the continent, but the Antarctic is the area, the region, the bottom part. Arctic, Antarctic. Ant? Gamey? No. Ant means like not, like anti, opposite, right? Antonym. Arctic, anti-Arctic, not Arctic. Arctic, believe it or not, this is gonna shock you. It comes from an old Greek word meaning bear, gom. In the north, we have a bear, bukugom, polar bear. In the south, no bear, anti-bear, no bear, Antarctic. Isn't that interesting? Also, in the north, there's a famous group of stars, constellation, called the Ursa, which means bear. You can see it in the north, kind of shaped like a bear. You can't see those stars from the south. So there's two reasons, but the polar bear, I think, is the easiest reason to remember. Passage 2, post-it notes. Okay, this one's a bit longer, so take a little longer if you need it. And there are 4 questions here, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So page 29 and page 30. We all know what post-it notes are, I think. So good luck. When you're done, come back and I'll explain the answers. Researchers at 3M were working on developing different types of adhesives. Adhesive. To adhere to something is to stick to it. You must adhere to the rules. You must stick to the rules or follow the rules. Okay? Don't break the rules. Adhesive is anything that sticks, like glue, tape, different kinds of bonds or cements. One particularly weak adhesive, a compound of acrylate copolymer microspheres, was developed. So, a specific particular adhesive. Number 3, A. Of the many adhesives of the different types, one was not particularly strong. Not particularly strong equals particularly weak. A. Provided, look at line 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Provided it did not get dirty. Provided means as long as. This is academic English. It's very common. Provided no one is late for class, as long as no one is late for class, Another use was found when the product was attached to a report that was to be sent to a colleague, co-worker, with the request for comments on the report. The colleague made his comments on the paper attached to the report and returned the report. That's how, it's so interesting, accidental invention. So many inventions have been accidental. Now, I don't have a post-it note, but the one man said, hey, Joe, look at this. I created this not very strong adhesive. And he used it and he stuck the paper with that adhesive on this paper. Please tell me what you think. And the other man pulled the paper off, put it on, and then said, well, I think, mo, 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 mo. And he wrote it on the little paper, not on the big paper. And they went, that's a great idea. We can use this weak adhesive to make little stickers to put on paper. Accidental invention. That's how Post-it notes were invented. Number 4 is B, unexpectedly discovered use. Another use was found, so it was kind of found by accident. Unexpectedly, one other use was found in sending and receiving notes attached to documents by accident. Sales of this innovative product. Okay, innovative means new, NOV means new. So innovation, something new, a new invention, a new creation. Innovative, new thinking. Novel means new, a novel idea, a new idea. Novel means new. It's a new type of writing. Poetry and drama goes back much farther than the novel. That's why it's called a novel. A novice is somebody who's new at something. Maybe you're trying tennis for the first time. You're a novice tennis player, a new tennis player. Less than stellar. Stellar means like a star. The word stella is star. It's Latin. So stellar means a star. Less than stellar, not star, not very good. Less than stellar, not so good. Remember I told you about the group of stars that look like a bear? Well, that word is constellation. Constellation, group of stars. Less than stellar, not so good. So what's the problem here? The product was innovative, was new, was sort of inventive, creative, but not familiar. People didn't understand it very well. Number 5 is C. The new product, innovative product, did not sell well. Less than stellar, not good. Because potential customers did not understand it. They were unfamiliar with it. Unfamiliar, don't get it, don't know how to use it, don't understand it. Number 5, C. Number 6, over time, after some years, some time later, 3M came to understand the huge potential of this new product. And over the next few decades, more than 400 varieties of Post-it note products in different colors, shapes, and sizes have been developed. Number 6D, it took some time, over time, after some time later, to understand how important, huge potential, big potential of this new product and how many variations, so many varieties, 400 varieties, variations, different types, different styles, different colors, sizes, and so on. And as we know, there's a million kinds of, more than 400 now, colors and shapes and sizes of Post-it notes. Very popular everywhere. All right, homework, page 31, the Pulitzer Prize. We talked about that earlier. Edna Ferber, remember? She won the Pulitzer Prize. This is like the Academy Award for writers. If you win a Pulitzer Prize, you are considered a top-level writer. It's the highest prize in the United States for a writer. And number 33, competition and cooperation. I love this one. This is one of my favorite passages in our textbook. Please read it carefully and answer number 13 and 14 and then stop. Page 34 is the last page. That's it. Okay? The homework again, page 31, 32, 33, 34. Stop there. Next week, we will begin skill 4 together. Okay, you don't have to time yourself for these 2 passages. Don't take forever, but give yourself extra time. I want you to develop the technique. Look at the sentence closely, the shaded sentence. what's going on here? What are the key points? Comma here, before, after. Okay, look for the key points. Separate the sentence. Find out what those key points are saying and look for an answer that restates those key points. Good work. Let's go on to listening. Page 129. Now, you have the listening files for last week and this week. Okay, if you want to listen again, you can while we review. It's up to you. I'm just going to let you know the answers and go over it with you. Now, page 129 has the pictures and the questions, and then the recording script is on, where are we here? Page 581. No, 582. Okay, discussion lakes. Yes, okay. Passage 3, discussion lakes. Okay, pretty easy. We have 3 students. They are not in class. It looks like they're in the library or maybe a study room. And what are they doing? I don't know. Okay, what do 3 students do working together? They do homework together. They prepare for a test together. They prepare for a project or presentation together. Follow along. What are they doing? Always listen closely right at the beginning. Every time you listen, the very beginning is very important. Let's see where we are on this project for geography class. Our presentation is in 2 days, and I hope we're almost ready. So what are they doing? They're making a presentation. Number 6 is C. They must present it. Presentation to their class. Present it to their class, their classmates. We're each going to look up information about a different lake with an emphasis on how each lake was formed. That's the key. They're looking at information. 3 students, 3 lakes. But how the lake was formed. Number 5A, various ways that major lakes formed. Right away, there's your 2 answers. That's the gist. That's the main idea. That's the subject of this talk. Why are they there? They're there to discuss lakes. Why? They're giving a presentation. About what? 3 major lakes. What about them? How they were formed. So much information right at the beginning. And you know to listen for it by looking at the picture. So we see the 3 lakes are the Caspian Sea, which is kind of in Europe and Asia, I guess mostly Europe. The other one is the Lake Superior, one of the Great Lakes in North America, formed by glaciers, Bingha. And the last one is Lake Baikal. Lake Baikal is in Siberia, in Russia, and it's the deepest lake in the world. Lake Baikal is not the biggest lake by size. It's in the top 10, but it's the biggest lake by water. It has about 1/5 of the world's fresh water. 1/5, 20% fresh water, not salt. The Lake Baikal has more water than all 5 Great Lakes combined. The Great Lakes are the big lakes in North America. Next one, discussion, meteorology. Okay, listen at the beginning. The professor says, today, instead of lecturing, I'm going to start out by taking questions. You all know that the exam's tomorrow, so today I'd like to spend time talking about whatever's unclear to you. Yes, Anne, what's your question? The student says, I've got a question about the theories of Redfield and Espy. I understand they were American meteorologists in the 19th century, 1800s. 19th century means 18. Different theories about how storms behave, but I'm not quite sure. Can you explain these 2 theories? The professor says they had different theories on the behavior of storms. So what's going on here? Look at the picture. This is the professor and students. When you see the professor and students together in the classroom, it usually means you're going to hear the professor's voice, of course, and student voices. If you see a picture and it's just the professor in the classroom, it's probably a lecture. But this picture tells you it's more question and answer, discussion in the classroom. And that's what's happening. The professor says, okay, no lecture today. The exam's tomorrow. You ask me questions. Number 8, D. This is about these two contrasting theories, two different theories about storms. Number 7 is A. Contrasting means different, opposite. They don't agree, the two theories. And number 8 is D. Why are we doing this? Very simple. The student asked the question. To ask a question is to bring up, raise, ask a question. Number 7A, number 8D. Okay, the rest of the talk I'm not going to go over. I'll talk, centripetal means towards the center. Centrifugal means away, fugue, like fugitive, going away from the center. Counterclockwise, same direction as a clock. Against the direction of a clock. Counter means opposite. Clockwise is the same as a clock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Counterclockwise, backwards, opposite of a clock. Now, all that is just, you can listen, and it's good listening practice and good note-taking practice. What is this about? Two theories. Theory 1, Redfield, SB, Redfield, follow the students, follow the professor, take notes on the key points of these two theories about storms. Let's move on. Skill 2, understand the details. Okay, so number 1, skill 1 was the gist, the big picture, the forest. Can you see the forest? That's skill 1, the main idea, the main point. Skill 2, now let's look at the trees, individual trees in the forest, specific details, specific points. Go ahead and listen to the example and answer number 1 and number 2. Astronomy. Again, we do so much astronomy in this class. We're going into space. We're going to learn about things out in outer space. This time, Halley's Comet. Go ahead, listen, answer number 1, answer number 2, and then come back. Halley's Comet, which passes by our planet every 76 years, one time in 76 years, it comes close to our planet. Well, number 1 is B. It last came by in 1976. No, last came by Earth in 1986. It did not appear between 1758 and 1986. No, it appears every 76 years. It comes by one time every 76 years. B. D, it gave its name to an astronomer. No, the astronomer gave his name to it. It received its name from an astronomer. It didn't give Edmund Halley his name. A, no. C, no. D, no. B, yes. Number 2, 2 answers. Click on 2 answers. Be careful. If you click on only 1 or check 1, it's wrong. Even if the one you check is the right answer, no. You must choose 2. Be careful when you answer these questions. He correctly predicted, accurate, B. He made an accurate prediction. And he was an astronomer, C. Okay. B and C. A, we don't know how old he was when he died, but we do know that he died 16 years before 1758, so he couldn't possibly have viewed the comet unless he viewed it from his grave. No. Anyway, number 2 is B and C. Page 132, always read these. It's good practice. You get questions like, what is stated? What is indicated? What does it say? According to the passage, Specific, detail, questions. Listen for details. Page 133, passage 1, consultation. Okay, help. A parking sticker. Listen as a student consults with an office worker on campus. This is a university staff member, the man. The woman is a student, and she is talking, obviously asking questions about a parking sticker. Now, this is not a parking ticket. This is not illegal parking ticket. That's a ticket. Police gives you a ticket, you must pay a fine. Parking ticket. Parking sticker you stick on your window so that you can park somewhere. Maybe all semester. Here at Hongdae, we have an underground parking below our dome. If you want to park there, you must buy a sticker, put the sticker in your car window, and now that sticker allows you to parking sticker, your car at Hongdae. Let's listen. Go ahead. Now, why? Look at the picture. What's going on? Are they chatting? Well, she's not there for fun. This is a university office worker. So listen right away. Why is the woman there? She will state it right away. Okay? I need to get a parking sticker. What is the man? He's the worker. He's going to help her. So what happens? What if this is you, if you're the woman, and you need to buy something at university? Well, you need to ask them what you have to do, and then they have to tell you. He'll ask you questions. Can you do this? Show me this. I need that. Question, answer. Just follow along. Follow along, take notes like you're there, you're the woman in this picture. You're the student. And the man is the university staff member. Okay? Now the questions he asks are obviously important questions. Is this your first? Have you ever got one before? No, I haven't. This is my first parking sticker. Okay, key point, first parking sticker. Take that note. Number 1, C. Number 2, and how are you going to pay with the sticker, for the sticker? Cash, check, bank card, credit card, debit card. She says by check. By check means with a check. I will pay by check. I will pay with a check. I'm going to use a check. B, number 2B, to pay for this parking sticker. Number 3, what does she not need? Do I have to, fill out this form. A, complete a form. Yes. Fill out, complete a form. Write your check. Okay, write the check. Give me the form, the check, and then show me your student ID. ID identification. A, fill out the form. Yes. B, show me your ID. Yes. C, write the check, pay a fee. Yes. A, yes, B, yes, C, yes, D, no. No, you don't have to bring your car. She does not need to bring her car. D. Number 4, 2. Check 2 answers here. Where do I need to put it? Question, answer. She says, where do I need to put the sticker? This is important. Listen for the answer. Write down the note. On the front window of the car on the right-hand side. Oh, wait a minute. On the left-hand side. Sorry, front window, left side. Number 4, A and D. Front window, left side, right? Yes. A and D. What happened? The man said, front window, right-hand side. Oh, no, wait a minute. Wait a minute means, my mistake. I'm sorry. Me on left side. Have you ever done that? Do you ever make little mistakes like that? Do you ever say to your friend, oh, my class finishes at 4 o'clock and let's meet. Oh, I'm sorry, 5 o'clock. I mean 5 o'clock. Of course you do. We all do. Every day. You make little mistakes. That's life. It's natural, right? Yes. So this is a natural mistake. No, it's not. I want you to notice it. Very important thing here. That man made what sounded like a very natural, normal, everyday mistake. Left-hand side. I'm sorry. No, right-hand side. No, I mean left-hand side. Not natural. This conversation is not real. It's a script. It's 2 people in a studio recording a script. That script they're reading. That mistake is planned. It's not an accident. So it's part of the test. When you listen and you hear a mistake, a little bell should ding, 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 telling you, listen, take notes. This is a key point. That mistake is not an accident. That mistake is written into the script, even though it sounds natural. Okay. Pay attention, take notes, notice the mistake. There's almost always a question based on this mistake. And here there was, A and D. Okay, number 5, the colors. The various parking areas are marked with different colors. Marked, sort of separated. Red area, blue area, yellow area. Distinguished. Okay, number 5, B. Different areas are separated by color, are distinguished by color. Notice the synonym, B. And number 6, who parks in which areas? Check on 2, B and C. Faculty and staff. Faculty means professors, teachers, professors. Staff means staff members, people working there. The man in the picture is a staff member. B and C. Faculty and staff use blue, students use yellow. B and C. Let's do one more. Discussion, a drama class. Okay, go ahead. 3 students talking together outside of class. It's about a drama class. Remember, they're either doing homework or preparing something, or listen carefully right at the beginning. Why are they there? What are the key details? Go ahead, drama class. All right, right at the beginning. We need to get going. We need to start working on this class project, drama class. What is the project? We have to present a scene. They're doing a presentation. They're acting a scene from Our Town. That's the name of the play, Our Town. In costume, wearing the right clothes for the play, and with props, properties. Props means properties, means the things on the stage. When you watch a live performance, there are actors and there are props. That's it. Everything that's not an actor is a prop. A clock, a bed, a desk, a table, whatever. Those are called props. Our performance is only in 3 weeks, and that's not much time. When is the performance? Number 7, C, in a few weeks. 3 days? No. 3 months? No. 10 days? No. In 3 weeks, in a few weeks, synonym, restatement. Let's see, we've already decided on a scene and we know who's going to play each part. Three students, 3 parts. Bill, you play the stage manager. Tina, you're Emily, and I'm George. Stage manager, Emily, George. Number 8, Emily, yes. George, yes. Stage manager, yes. C, Thornton Wilder, no. Who's Thornton Wilder? Anyway, no. C is wrong, so C is right. Not a character. Negative means wrong is right, right is wrong. Thornton Wilder is a writer, a very famous American playwright who wrote this play, Our Town. So they're kind of playing a little game here. Thornton Wilder is the writer. He's not an character in the play. Number 9. Okay, I've already started learning my lines. Now, to be an actor, you memorize your lines. How do you memorize them? You read them again and again and again. I've started learning them, not memorized, started learning. I've already started working on my lines too. I'm familiar with mine. I think we're ready to read through it, practice it together. Number 9, B. They have read over their lines. They have read them at least one time. They have to read them again and again, practice and practice and practice to memorize them. A, wrong. B, C, wrong. D, wrong. B, yes. They've read them at least one time each, but they need more practice to memorize them. Number 10, what is the scene we're going to do? The scene takes place before George and Emily's wedding. So before a wedding, A, and whose wedding? George and Emily. George and Emily's wedding means C. George and Emily are getting married. A and C. Number 10, A and C. Must have 2 answers. And number 11, always listen at the end. Always at the end, there might be a key point. What's happening next? After the talk, what will they do? what's going to happen after this audio clip ends? Well, we're going to go over, why don't we discuss what we're going to do about costumes and props first, and then we can we can practice the scene together. What are they going to talk about? Costumes and props, B and D. Listen at the end, take notes on key details at the end. What will happen next? Very common question in TOEFL. All right, that's all for today. I want you for homework to do passage 3, education, early teachers, and passage 4, geology, iron pyrite, interesting. Homework, passage 3 and passage 4, and then stop. Because the review exercise, the first listening review exercise, I want to do together. Okay, I don't want you to do it for homework. I want you to do it with me. So up to page 136 and then just stop. As always, work hard, do your best, practice. I suggest if the listening is difficult, listen, take good notes, answer the question, then listen again. Listen for your mistakes. Listen and take more notes. Practice note taking. Listen for the key points. Listen for organization. Practicing listening will make you a better listener, but you've got to give more time to it. That's really the key. Great work this week. Good job. Get your homework done. You have reading passages, listening passages. Finish them. Send me an email. Tell me you finished everything and ask questions, please, if you have questions. All right, that's all for this week. Great work. I look forward to hearing from you by Wednesday at 5 p.m. Don't forget. Have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye.